Go. All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the Late Night Shots podcast, episode 62. We have an interesting topic of discussion today. If we go back and look at it, two of the best heavyweights in the past 15, 20 years. Let's name the best guys, right? Tony Nelson, Zach Ray, Nick Gwiazdowski, Kyle Snyder, and now Gabe Stevenson. Who seems to be the best? You've narrowed it down to two guys, Kyle Snyder and Gabe Stevenson. Nick Gwiazdowski had his time. Seems to have passed now. I'm sorry, I got a blue-ass mouth. I ate a bunch of Jolly Ranchers. Just completely disregard that. But yeah, that being said, who would win in a freestyle match? Gabe Stevenson or Kyle Snyder? That's going to be our debate for today.
Freestyle?
Yes. See, the only reason we do freestyle is because Gable is not giving up any major advantage, never having wrestled freestyle before, like you would say with Mason Parrish or something like that. And Kyle Snyder is a whole Olympic champion.
I'll say that. Listen, who's got a senior world medal while still being? I think 19 is still junior eligible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
Snyder,
shot at that got canceled because of COVID? You see, that's where that debate goes out the window for me for the sole fact the Olympic title. First off, he was at 97. But even that being said, Gable hasn't had a shot.
That's fair
Would
enough.
you want Gable to go to the 2016 trials when he was like 17, 16 years old?
Yeah.
And you expect him to beat
Didn't
Torvald
Mark Hall
Wagner
do
for the
that?
spot? Who?
Mark Hall wrestled in like the 2016 trials whenever he was like 17, I think.
Yeah, how far do you make it?
Beat Logan Massa in the semis.
Logan Massa's still in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that proves. Who's the winner of that trials? Jordan Burroughs.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Let's be honest, that may have been a weaker weight class that year, just based
74?
on his performance at the Olympics.
That's fair.
Didn't place, maybe. It sucks because you work your whole life to peak for those 2 days of the tournament. And the smallest mistake can cost you to go from a gold medal to not placing.
Yeah.
And that's just what that is. Yazdani capitalized on that and won himself a gold medal.
Right.
But, going back to... Oh, also, I forgot to say this. We're at 834 subscribers as we speak.
Hey, sweet.
If we hit 1,000, I'll do a giveaway no matter what. But we move up that giveaway if Gabe Stevenson comes out in the gold singlet for the national finals. He puts bonus points on Mason Parrish as expected now. And he hits the round off backflip. I know I'm asking for a lot. I'm broke. I don't want to give away money. But, and you know what? I'll probably give away a decent amount of stuff. Probably not. You'll probably just get a shirt and some stickers. I'll be honest. But that being said, let's get into the debate. It's not going to be formal. It's probably just more of a casual, just talk about how they would really match up against each other. We're not going to go too crazy into depth about this. But I'll say this right now. In a freestyle match, I have Gable. And it's... it's just... I don't have it being close. I'll be honest. But let's say this. What is the main advantage? Go to Snyder, obviously, in folk style, right? So the fact that one extra minute is always going to work in Snyder's favor against Gabe Stevenson. I doubt Gable's that good of a hand fire to wear Snyder out before Snyder gasses him with just a bunch of volume shots.
Yes.
You'd have to consider that if Snyder goes on bottom in freestyle, Gable may just be able to end it right there. Just based on where his part tower defense matches up. And Gable's not a turn guy. That's the thing. But if
he's a takedown two-turn guy.
Yeah. And again, that's easier.
He doesn't just grab a gut wrench and parterre.
You have to assume that he has some knowledge of that, and size is going to play a massive factor just with that alone. Yeah, you have to assume that Snyder's not a big turn guy either. Just in
Well, yeah.
general. You know, he
Yeah.
has that gut wrench, but hitting that gut wrench on a guy like Nate Jackson, who he wrestled, or Gabe Dean, is a lot different than hitting on Gable Steveson.
Yes.
And that just goes without being said.
Mm-hmm.
Again, college accolades, Kyle Snyder, 3-time national champion, 4-time finalist. Gable placed third as
Senior
a
world
freshman,
champion while he was still in college.
What? Olympic champion?
And Olympic champion. Wait, no.
Again, I said the
Now
Olympic champion. World, he lost to Nick Wisdowski. Who was at 97 that one year? Varner was at 125, I'm pretty sure, that one year. And then cut back down to, it was weird. He didn't have to wrestle Varner. And again, who would he beat in the finals? I can't say Sajulev's ass because he was just moving up, but that's not the Sajulev we know now.
Yeah, Sajulev now is pretty much a lock for Olympic gold.
Yeah, the one thing is, Gable can still be a 3-time national champ. People are going to say, it's because he got an extra year. All that does is...
Are we all going to act like he wouldn't have won it last year?
I don't think we can do that. I think we just have to erase that year at that point. He can be a 4-time Big Ten champ, which Snyder isn't. Snyder's a 3-time Big Ten champ. But again, if you just counted last year, going with the precedent, we have to assume Gable Steveson would have won it.
Yes.
Because Paris did beat Stenzel a couple times, and Gable already beat Jordan Wood, and those are the returning All-Americans. Gable beat Hilger also. You have to assume that Gable would have won it. I don't know how dominantly, but a 9-5, 8-6 win in the Big Ten Finals is a more high-scoring match than Kyle Snyder's ever had in the Big Ten Final, I think.
I just think
his freshman year is the one thing I really want to talk about really quickly before I let you talk. But Gable was a consensus number 2.
Yes.
Maybe not ranking-wise, but let's be honest. We all knew he was number 2. And even the guy who's going to pick Snyder in this conversation is not going to argue that. He beat Derek White. He lost to Kassar off of 2 seconds of riding time. That's what that match came down to, People was like, again, I don't believe in saying, Kassar. I don't believe in making that argument, so I'm not going to make that for Gable's favor either. Even though that probably would be a valid argument to make. Kassar was older, this, that. Let's rock into... Yeah, you can go now.
Okay, so credentials aside, I want to talk technique, as always. Kyle Snyder and Anthony Kassar present a very, very similar problem for Gable. They both have really, really bloody solid positioning, and Kyle Snyder's positioning is better than Kassar's, right? I was watching Kassar versus Bradley last night, and multiple times Bradley was able to just
use, dude.
It's a bad match to use. He got his that's the last match he's wrestled.
It really is, but again, are you comparing Dom Bradley, a guy who would most likely beat Kyle Snyder?
What I mean is,
no, but I just wanted to be said. Dom Bradley was the favorite going in that match, And again, Dom Bradley makes the most technical guys look like ass when he blast doubles them.
I know, absolutely. But my point being, Kassar has really solid positioning, solid enough to beat Gable. Bradley blew through him multiple times. Didn't even have to hit any on a lot of shots.
But
Kyle Snyder's positioning is stronger, and I feel like his hand fighting matches up even better than Gable's. Better than Kassar's against Gable. Just because, the last time we saw Gable lose, it has to be his matches with Kassar because that would be the best way to tell.
I think Gwiz might be a better example there, but again, those matches, we've said it before when I talked to Dom Bradley. He was like, again, Gwiz is the best match manager, if you were to call it that.
Yes.
That match was a lot more impressive to me both ways, Gwiz held his own and won the match while Gable put up a solid fight. There's things that Gable could have won that match. Just change a couple of things he would have done, just scoring changes in that. But you have to consider that the way Kassar won, Gable dominated the hand fight against Kassar. Kassar won because he was quicker and smart. That's all it was. And again, that's against a freshman, right? Kyle Snyder lost in the Big Ten Finals as freshman year to Morgan McIntosh.
Yes.
You have to consider that Kyle Snyder right now has more college losses than. And if you assume that Gable wins out, which we don't know he will, let's assume he does. He has less losses than Kyle Snyder. And you also have to realize Snyder lost to McIntosh. Snyder got pinned by Gadsden in the finals.
Yeah. So
Gadsden may be a guy you can compare to Kassar.
well, those upper body exchanges aren't really going to happen. But I mean, okay, so how is Kassar hand fight? He's got a Russian. He likes the overtie because Penn State guys love the overtie.
He's not a Penn State. That's what I'm saying. Like
Kassar.
Kassar. Yeah, my bad. I thought you were talking about Snyder. I mean, Snyder's a Penn State guy, but
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, he's, you know what I'm saying. He still wrestles like the same Snyder. He's just, Snyder's biggest advantage now would be his scrambling, but again, that kind of gets neutralized with Gable's athleticism.
But here's the interesting thing. Here's the interesting thing. Because Snyder has always also used an overtie. He uses it to get to his low single.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if we've ever seen someone actually try to shoot a low single on Gable, but I feel like if we're going to see someone get to Gable's legs, it's going to be Kyle Snyder, just because I just think his level change, he's going to get past Gable's head and hands, right?
Yeah, see, the thing
that's inevitable.
Yeah, the problem
there's no way that he doesn't.
Exact argument, right? Is you would have to assume that Jaden Cox is more athletic than Kyle Snyder, right? I think we can all agree on that. Maybe not by much, but just straight foot speed,
athletic, yeah,
inability to get to angles. Jaden Cox wins.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking about Bradley. He consistently beats Jaden Cox in the room every day. You know, obviously you can play that a little bit differently because they've been wrestling together for so long.
Yeah.
That's like the same thing. It's like, who's going to make more of an impact at the trials, Mason Parris or Adam Kuhn if they wrestled freestyle? Mason Parris. Who probably wins in the room, though? Adam Kuhn is the smarter wrestler, probably has the man figured out.
Yeah.
There's a chance Parris never gets that dump on him. That being said, you know, I'll say right now, I don't think anybody in the U.S. can beat Gable right now. And I've said it before that, you know, I've said it that if Gwiz and Snyder wrestle 10 matches, it probably is 50-50.
I just think
that 1 minute.
They're very similar.
Look where that match was won by Snyder in the national finals. It was won in the last minute. Mm-hmm. That last minute doesn't exist in freestyle. And you have to assume Gable's dominance with underhooks, which he hasn't shown that much because he's transitioning himself to more just speed and just straight just fucking around with guys. That's the best way to put it. Yeah, like he still has the underhook dominance, and he showed that against Gwizdowski. Gwizdowski is stronger than Kyle Snyder. Just you have to strap it. Like as a wrestling, you know, that Gwiz is not the same Gwiz we saw in the national finals. That Gable is not the same Gable we saw the freshman year, and that Snyder's not the same Snyder we saw against Adam Kuhn, right?
Yeah.
As Gwizdowski's probably made more improvement than Snyder, just where he's transitioned himself, and you know we've said it. You at heavyweights transitioning weight class, it's becoming more athletic. That's just because more athletes are starting to transition to this. People are taking it more seriously. We're trying to diversify it. You either gotta change your style or you're gonna get left in the dust.
Yeah.
You know, if we were to make it a folk style match against Gwiz and Gable, that may be a good topic for discussion. Gwiz is the best scrambler out of them three, and there's really no debate about that.
So it's just if you want to talk about how they match up stylistically, it's kind of a matter of Gable kind of does similar things to Kyle Snyder, but a little bit more diverse in his offense. Mm-hmm. He's got a double, he's got a single, he's got a high crotch, right? Kyle Snyder obviously has all three of these things. He gets to it a little bit differently. He has to be heavy on your head, right? So it comes down to a matter of will Kyle Snyder get his hands on him, and will he be able to move him around? I think he'll be able to move him.
See, that's the main thing. That will most likely decide the match.
So what I want to talk about is if you look at Snyder's match with Sajulayev, it was not a one-sided match by any means, and I mean the one where he won in 2017. He wasn't moving Sajulayev around at will, obviously, but he was for the most part moving around Sajulayev.
You still hear me?
And pardon, yeah.
Can you still? All right, cool.
What makes the Russians so freaking good is how specific to wrestling their strength is. So things like the hand fight, keeping your feet in place, not moving whenever you don't want to be moved. If Snyder can move around Sajulayev, I feel like it's safe to say that he can at least get Gable's feet moving. right? And whenever you're
See-
talking about a guy like Kyle Snyder with as good a low single or a high crotch as he has, once you get the feet moving, that's it. That's it, said and done, right? And then with the overtie snap, because the thing with the overtie snap, Gable could be stronger than Snyder, right? You can hit the overtie snap on people much, much stronger than you. It's not just like a regular like collar and inside tie snap, right? Because the whole point is that it's moving the weight to his hand and then dipping your head and getting it out of the way, so he's forced to plant, right? And then either Gable's not an idiot, he's going to circle or come back up or something, but it's going to move his feet, and Snyder's going to take advantage of that.
Yeah. See, the main.
And I also want to talk about Snyder's defense is not as bad as some people would say. I know, like you brought that up as a point just because Gable's offense is so good. Most of Snyder's points against Sajalayev were from short offense and a go behind. Sajalayev would take his shot, and then Snyder, because Snyder wears on your head so much that eventually it becomes, all right, I'm going to wrestle from space. You shoot, front headlock, go behind.
Yeah.
Gable isn't going to shoot out of desperation in the way that Sajalayev might have, or like other people that Snyder has wrestled. But I don't think we've ever really seen, like, because part of what makes Gable so good is that he's so composed. And I mean, not really since like that Big Ten finals against Gassar have we ever really seen him kind of like lose focus. I think he said it himself at one point that he said like that was like the first time he had been vulnerable in a wrestling match in a bit. So I'm not saying that Kyle Snyder's going to like shake Gable Stevenson, but I think that he's going to be able to move Gable around in ways that we haven't really seen other people besides Tony Nelson been able to move him around.
Tony Nelson?
Yeah, because that Tony Nelson, it came down to a size thing. Kyle Snyder, because everything in wrestling is technique to a degree,
Gable,
right?
Or?
If you ask John Smith,
what match are you talking about? Nelson versus Gable?
When Nelson wrestled Gable, yeah.
See, that's where the argument again becomes flawed, right? Now, go match Sajalayev. This one, Sajalayev was just bumped up from 86. Snyder was a huge favorite to win this match. The next time they wrestled...
Yeah, it's still freaking Sajalayev.
Yeah, that being said, that's two Olympic champs going at it, right?
Yeah.
David Taylor versus Yazdani. When Yazdani moved up, what happened there?
I mean, shit, it wasn't nearly as close as Sajalayev Snyder was.
Yeah, 86 to 97 is a much more important bump, I would say. Maybe it's 2.2 pounds less of a bump than 74 to 86. But again, that being said, Tony Nelson versus Gable Stevenson will always be a competitive match.
Yeah.
And that goes for the sole factor that they've wrestled together ever since Gable was in high school.
That's fair.
This is exactly what we've talked about, Gable versus Kirk. Gable versus Kirk used to be training partners, as far as I've heard. They were the two best guys in Minnesota, regardless of weight class.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's ever been heavyweight recruiters that have been touted as high as them. They could have potentially had Gable at heavyweight and Greg Crayford at 97. Granted, Kirk's too big for that now, right?
Yeah.
This is probably the worst thing to use because, that's like saying, okay, Mason Parrish versus Adam Kuhn, a freestyle match. I'm pretty sure Kuhn would win for that sole factor.
But
Don
it
Bradley
means
versus
that
Jaden
Gable
Cox.
can be moved around.
That becomes the problem right there. Normally people's like, oh, okay, Snyder attacks some guys much bigger, much stronger than him. Snyder was about 225 to 225 around the national titles. Maybe 230, whatever, we'll give him that. Gable's around 265. And weight is going to matter a lot more here just for the sole fact that Snyder's never faced an athlete as big and as strong as Gable Stevenson. And as quick, not as strong. Gwizdowski's probably the closest. In that national final, Snyder was 226. I know for a fact there was a 29-pound weight difference. So Snyder versus Gwiz. And he beat him because he gassed him out, right?
Right.
Gwiz was handling Snyder early in that match. Now, if you make a freestyle, Gable's so dominant with that lefty underhook. And if he really wants to, I don't see will run Snyder out of bounds at will with that. If Snyder lets that in. And again, circling out, you have to say, like, stuffing Sajaliyev's shot and stuffing Gable Stevenson's shot are two different things for the sole fact that Gable is going to get off his knees. Gable gets off his knees insanely quick off his shot. Plus, he also finds an angle where a guy like Kyle Snyder is going to shoot on you without just going to try to go through you and go under you. And again, with Gable is transitioning and his ability to chain wrestle now, that's going to present a lot more factors. So even if he doesn't get that first attack, and if Kyle
Snyder forces Gable to chain wrestle, it's going to be a bad night for Gable. Because
these
are both guys whose strength relies on how quickly they convert and also how high percentage they are once they get on a leg.
I don't know about the chain. I don't know about that because you also have to consider. We say this every time. Maybe Kirkfoot's guy can get on Gable's legs. Maybe Paris' guy can get Gable's legs. Maybe Quiz is the guy. We haven't seen that guy yet.
Yeah, but there's no maybe here. Kyle Snyder is going to get in on his legs.
There's really nothing showing that. There's literally, because you have to realize, like, even if he does get on the legs, there's a very solid chance that he doesn't get through the hips of Gable. This isn't Connor Medbury we're talking about where he's just going to go under him and lift him for 2. This is a potential Olympic champion right here. Also, a weight class up. And if you go back to the films of Kyle Snyder wrestling Taha Ghul, wasn't too close. I don't think Snyder got I think Snyder might have 1 takedown there. It should be Kyle Snyder versus Taha Ghul 2-minute go. Obviously, I'm not going to say that yet that they're on the same level, but again, Gable is improving at such a rapid pace that Snyder has never matched the level of dominance. And, Lee, it's crazy because we have 2 polar opposites right now. Gable Stevenson, Spencer Lee, right, that are doing the exact same thing on 2 different sides of the wrestling world, essentially.
Yeah.
100% bonus rate. This could be the most ass weight class. Kyle Snyder didn't tech fall Nick Neville's, didn't pin Nick Neville's, didn't major Nick Neville's. Went back and forth with Adam Kuhn. Gable Stevenson teched Adam Kuhn in the U.S. Open Finals to get the Final X.
Right.
Drops 2 4-4 matches, 4-4, and a 3-3 match. Nick Wisdowski comes back at the RTC Cup. Wrestled 2 matches, tech fall Jordan Wood. Jordan Wood's again going to be a little bit tougher matchup for Gable because of the fact that they wrestle so much, and Jordan Wood's a very good game planner. Gable still tech-falled him pretty handily. Didn't go for any turns. Beat Nick Wisdowski. Nick Wisdowski is known for being able to finish out of extended positions. That's what he does.
Sure.
And he does it on world-class level guys. He got in on Gable's legs. Gable shut him down with his hips immediately. If Kyle Snyder can get in on a low ankle shot and convert on that immediately, maybe. There's literally no shot that Snyder can get in on the ankle. Gable stuffs it with his hips, and it doesn't either lead to a stalemate or 2 for Gable.
Right.
If Snyder can get untouched on his legs, again, if you go back to freshman Gable, Snyder does that as much as he wants for the sole fact and he gasses him out. Now you're seeing Gable's gas tank come together and you're seeing all this. He's turning from what we all thought he was going to end up as like a bust after his freshman year, just what was going for him. And now he's starting to look like, oh, this might be the new face of USA Wrestling in the years to come if he stays within the sport. Again, like I've said, if he techs him, it's going to be solely because the push-outs are used to his advantage very well.
I'm looking at this clip. Snyder's positioning is perfect literally every single second.
Against Taha Ghul, yep.
Yeah.
Taha Ghul is so well and
Taha Ghul
wrestler.
Is fucking gigantic. Like
Taha Ghul is only about 245, 250. He's not that big.
Oh, he's 6'5". It's a frame thing.
It's like 6'2". Snyder's just not that tall. He's like 6'2", 6. I swear he's not 6'5". No shot. Is he actually?
Dude, like this is literally. He's got to be at least 6'3".
And you have to.
I read somewhere that he was like 6'4".
You have to consider 6'4" is about average height for heavyweight at that level.
Yeah.
You have Komio Gasemi,
6'4".
who's like, you have Komio Gasemi, who's like 5'8" and made the Olympic finals. That was just a different frame of dudes, right? What's Gable, like 6'1"? Still gonna have the height advantage.
Yeah, 6 exactly. Yeah.
The problem is Snyder hasn't
I
portrayed
just
the
think
level of dominance.
but his positioning, because Gable just moves everyone out of position. But if Snyder can, like, because he's taking like these collars from like Taha Ghul and he's just eating them. Like he's staying in his stance. He's shot onto the legs off of a snap. Did he
And
score? No, but it's
to
Taha freaking Ghul.
you have to consider that Taha Ghul isn't even the best man in the world anymore. Gino Petrosvili has beat him the past 2 years at the European Championships. Granted, they've been close matches, but you're seeing Taha Ghul used to lose to like American guys, like, and then transfer himself to Olympic champ. Now Gino Petrosvili has taken over. If Gable takes over, obviously it's bound to come, and you guys can come in soon enough. That's just the trend of each weight class. That's why, I've said it before. I don't think we've seen Gable try this season. That's what pisses me off. I don't think we've seen 100% focused Gable.
Okay, well
Do I think Gable's going to start flexing on Kyle Snyder if he starts winning? No, that just seems utterly stupid. But assuming Gable is not like in fucking La La Land in his head, just fucking around, doing whatever. There's no way Snyder catches him slipping. Like, and you have to consider, it could very well, you don't know what could happen if Snyder gets taken down. That's the thing.
I hate to do this. We're going to have to make a part 2 of this. I got to go leave for practice early because someone needs a ride.
All right. So,
Right.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. I don't even know if we're going to make a part 2 about this, but I think we've really covered most of the basics. Anyways, we're not going to agree on this, obviously, but I have Gable Stevenson. He has Kyle Snyder. But sorry about that, guys. Stuff happens.
That's my bad. I just got the
like
text.
A whole power outage here, and I'm still trying to figure out how to record.
Oh.
Nah, you're good. Don't worry about it. But thank you guys for watching. This has been episode 62 of Late Night Shots, and we'll see you guys again next time.
All right, peace.